Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sienna here with a brand new pick a card reading. You guys wanted a love reading and I'm here to deliver. I'm here to deliver your reading and deliver the message that Spirit has for you about your love life, whether you are single or in a relationship. So we have our three piles here. Pile 1 or group 1 is the pyrite. Pile 2, group 2, that's the amethyst. And pile 3 is some kind of quartz. I found it outside on the ground. If any of you know what this is actually called or can identify it, please tell me in the comments. But it is a beautiful stone. I loved it. I've kept it, and it's just a lovely part of my collection. Now, anyway, you're going to pick whichever pretty stone resonates with you, and that will be the pile and the message that you need today. Speaking of pretty stones, I want to give a quick shout out to this video sponsor, Otter Spirit. I'm wearing their pyrite, citrine, and golden tiger eye bracelets from their Prosperity Intention bundle. I love them. I think that these are really good quality. I think they're so smooth. They're so flawless too. I don't know, like a lot of times you get these kind of bracelets and, you know, just in nature, imperfections will exist, chips and little cracks and stuff, but there is absolutely no cracks, no imperfections or anything with these that I can see. Not only does Otter Spirit create beautiful things, they also use part of their earnings to protect our world's sea otter population, which I think is really cool. They have new collections every month, and it's not just bracelets. They make all kinds of pretty accessories, pendants, and rings and things like that too. So if you use the link that I've actually put in the description, you'll probably find something that'll suit you perfectly. And if you do, make sure to use the discount code WRTC, and you'll get yourself a discount on your purchase. Now, full disclosure, it is an affiliate link, but I think this is a win-win because if you use the link that I've put in the description and you use the WRTC code for your discount, not only are you having, your price knocked down a little bit, you're also supporting my channel and ultimately supporting my business as a tarot advisor. Anyway, sponsored message aside, let's jump into the readings. All right, pile 1, group 1, hello and welcome to your reading. If you chose the pyrite, then this will be the message for you. I'm going to do this. I did say in the intro that these messages are for you, whether you are single or in a relationship. So the way I'm going to do this is I will actually have the first half of each pile be dedicated to viewers that are single, or single or not in an otherwise committed relationship or connection. And then the other half of the pile is going to be messages for those who are already in a committed relationship. I will have the appropriate timestamps in the description and in a pinned comment, so don't worry about having to skip through until you find what you're looking for. So anyway, let's just begin. Pile 1, messages for my viewers that chose this pile who are single or not otherwise in a committed relationship. I love cutting the deck and already seeing the lovers there. We'll keep that card in mind just in case it pops up again. We're using the Kawaii Tarot, by the way. I haven't used it in a long time, but it is one of the simplest, I think one of the simplest tarot decks to use and learn from. It's one of the cutest decks. I mean, I guess hence the name Kawaii. And it's I think it's perfectly good for travel size. It's palm size, easy to shuffle. It actually fits in my Radiant Rider-Waite tin, so I can store it easily. All right, so what's the message for our viewers in group 1 who are single? What's happening next in their love life, Spirit? What can we know? All right. Okay. Ace of Cups, Hangman, Two of Swords. And I will get into these in more detail in a minute. Okay, Knight of Swords, that is in reverse. And I do read reversals with tarot, so we are going to keep it. Four of Swords, Seven of Swords, Ten of Swords. We got an awful lot of swords here. All right, okay. I'm going to just arrange these so that they fit in the frame better. One sec. Okay, well, the first thing I have here with our Ace of Cup, the first message that I got was make sure you're filling your own cup emotionally. Make sure that you are able to meet your own, emotional needs, your own emotional needs. I think some of you guys who've chosen this pile that are single, I think you're used to receiving love and validation from other people and having that fill your cup, but you've never really experienced or learned maybe what it was like or learned how to fulfill yourself and to love and get that validation from yourself. And I understand that's a lot easier said than done because, who doesn't love receiving a little bit of, kudos from other people and validation from those outside of us, right? That kind of recognition, it does make us feel good. So don't shame yourself for that. But I'm just saying here that it might be just time right now to work on being your own friend and giving yourself the compassion and the self-love that you need, that I think you've maybe been missing out on. Hangman and Two of Swords. Some of you are not able to decide. I think maybe you, this is a little bit more specific, but it's an example that's coming in either way. You're having trouble deciding between two people. Well, I kind of like this person, but I also am kind of interested in this person. I don't pick up like there's anything serious happening yet, but you're kind of in that like talking stage or that getting to know each other stage with, two different people. And you're kind of having trouble deciding between them. And I have Hangman, and that's saying, just wait a minute, don't make your decision yet. If you're not deciding between two different people, it's deciding between, should I put myself back out there and try this again, or should I just be by myself, be on my own for a while? And the answer for you here with the Hangman is to just wait before you jump into something else with another person. Actually, that's the answer for both. If you're trying to decide between two people, or if you're trying to decide between getting back out there on the market, I guess, and just being by yourself. Yeah, it's just wait and we're not going to jump into anything quite yet. Knight of Swords. Okay. Spirit wants me to read these in kind of a weird order. Knight of Swords in reverse. Now, oftentimes Knight of Swords can be a card for rushing into something. And while sometimes that works and, can have a good result, sometimes you do need to take action right away and very quickly. In this situation, don't. It's probably best if you don't, because I'm seeing something about because you haven't spent enough time just with yourself and filling your own cup. You haven't actually gotten to know and uncover your full authentic self. Seven of Swords is often about deceit, but in this case, I see it more as masking. And you're not being your real self when you're around somebody that maybe that you like or that you find attractive or whatever, or you're in some kind of situation like that with. I think in the past you have gotten used to being a version of yourself that you think the other person will find comfortable and will find acceptable, but it's not the real you. So when we do that, when we enter into these relationships or these, situationships or whatever, and we're not being our authentic self, we're not letting that other person get to know who we truly are. So they end up falling for their image of us, which is not always accurate, because eventually the mask is going to slip, and it always does slip eventually, like over time. And they're going to be like, what the heck? You're not the person I started dating. Well, actually, yeah, you were, but you just were showing a more, I'm getting the word sanitized, like a more sanitized and palatable version of yourself. Okay, I'm getting reminded of SpongeBob. I don't know which episode this is or which season, but some of you viewers might know this or be familiar with it. There's an episode where he tries to be normal and he watches like a video or something on how to be normal and how to present himself as like a typical average person. And it involved smoothing away all of his, it was like literally smoothing away all of his rough edges. So you know how he's shaped like the rectangle, and he's kind of got his squiggly outlines. Those were like all smoothed up, all the holes, you couldn't see them. Everything was like shiny and clean and smooth. And I think you guys are probably familiar with the meme where it's him with like his normal, quote look, and he's like extending his hand for handshake. Hey, how are you? Anyway, so I'm seeing that, but that wasn't his authentic self. It was more palatable to Squidward, and I think there were other people in the town that liked that version of him, but it wasn't who he truly was. And it ended up just not working out, and he had to unlearn the mask basically and relearn how to be his authentic true self, and then he was much happier that way in the end. Anyway, so that was a whole little tangent thing, but Spirit brought that example to mind, so that's going to resonate with somebody watching this. Okay, we also here have Four of Swords. This is taking a break. Take a break. I'm seeing, and there's no judgment here at all. Some of you watching this, I think you might be used to jumping from relationship to relationship, where you get out of one, you're maybe not single for very long, or there's even some kind of overlap in between. Anyway, whatever, no judgment, not shaming you for that. But it seems like there just wasn't, you never really gave yourself enough time to be alone. And when I say alone, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to just be lonely. You can absolutely still surround yourself with the friends who love you and the family members and the chosen family and, that chosen community around you that makes you feel supported and makes you feel worthy and validated and good. But for the singles right now, I just don't see jumping into another relationship, into anything new like that being a great idea. We have 10 of Swords here. And that's like, this is when something comes to a complete end, totally done. Some of you may have just come out of a relationship, actually. I kind of get that vibe, where it did not work out. And if you were to try to jump into something else right away, like some kind of rebound or something, I'm seeing that's not going to work either, until you've spent that time being your own lover, being your own companion, your own comfort. Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to put our 10 of Swords right there. I'm going to shuffle and... No, this is going to be different for every person, but we're just going to get an estimate. How long does do the singles in group 1 need to spend on their own before they can be in a better position to be in a relationship? Let's see if we can get an estimate on that, Spirit. Okay, for some of you, 2 years. Devil card. Yeah, for some of you, you have a lot of shadow work and a lot of stuff to unlearn and undo. Some of you may have actually come out of a traumatizing situation. Okay, this makes a little bit of sense. Maybe all of your relationships have had some kind of devil aspect, some kind of, for some of you, you could have gotten out of like an abuse situation or some kind of situation that really just wasn't right for you. It wasn't serving you. It was actually draining your energy, and it was not making you grow or making you a better version of yourself. I'm hearing being used is not the same as being loved. And some of you have to learn the difference between being used for what you have or for your body or for whatever it is, and being loved for who you truly are, all aspects of yourself. We're going to look at the bottom of the deck, and I think once you've gone through this process, now again, it's not going to be 2 years for everyone, but I think for quite a few of you watching, it could be 2 years of just being single and enjoying life. I'm seeing like going to therapy, getting to, I'm seeing something about like purging energies that don't belong to you and don't belong within you anymore. Then we have the Star. Then there's your optimal, optimal time, optimal position, optimal energy to get back into the whole dating game. So it's not like you're going to be single forever. And it's not like Spirit saying, oh, you need to be celibate and a monk up in the mountains for 10 years or a nun in a convent. And no, you don't have to go that far. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Because eventually you will be able to get back out there and be a better match, I think, for the right person for you. I feel that for some of you, you're probably wondering like, okay, but what if that special person or that soulmate or whatever, like, what if whoever it is that's supposed to be matched for me, like, what if they move on because I took too long to work on myself? That's not going to happen. I get the feeling a lot of those people that are supposed to be your good match are working on themselves as well at the moment. You're going to come together with this person when you're meant to and in the way that you're meant to, and there's going to be no bad timing here. It's once you're ready, it's going to be right person, right time. Okay. We're going to do a couple of runes here, volume warning, especially to my viewers who have headphones, because this gets really loud. Okay, I cast 4 of them and nothing came up. I really strongly believe that this is just not the time to try and pursue any kind of romantic connection or any kind of serious committed relationship right now. And, if that is really disappointing to you, I'm sorry, but I also am just the messenger here. I think this is going to be for your best. It'll be for your best, though. Yeah, for your own good, your best interest. That's the word I'm looking for. Well, it'll be in your best interest. Let's pull a Moonology card and see if we can get one more little bit of insight for you. Okay, we actually have 2. We have Believe in the Impossible with Blue Moon. So some of you may think, okay, well, I'm screwed. Like I'm not going to be good enough for anyone. I'm too damaged. I'm too whatever. I'm not going to be able to heal and work on myself. That's impossible. Well, it's like, no, actually it's not impossible. You'll be able to do it, and you will do it. I also have here, don't let the past hold you back. Kind of reminds me of that Devil card, where a lot of you actually left very toxic, abusive or otherwise really toxic or unhealthy connections. And some of you may be left with the belief that, well, all men are like that, or all women are like that, or all people will cheat, or all people will hurt me, when that's not actually true. So when it does become time to get back out there, once you've done your healing work, I think you're going to actually have an easier time letting go of some of your past experiences or the past trauma or whatever that's led you to these limiting beliefs that you might have about yourself and your ability to find real, true love. So that's the message I have for group 1, for those of you who are single. I hope that was helpful to you. If you want to look at this in greater detail or in a more personalized way, I do have private readings open. The booking link will be in the description. It's calendly.com/wildrosetc. Anyways, I'm going to put these all back in their decks. And then we're going to get into pile one's message for those who are already in relationships. Okay, so let's see. What does Spirit have to say for pile one? Viewers who are already in some kind of a committed partnership, relationship. What do we have for them? Oop. All right, 3 of Wands. We're going to keep that. We're going to put those ones back that all tried to flip out of my hand. I had like 5 of them do that. Okay, just cutting the deck. I see something about heartbreak or some kind of a challenge has made your relationship stronger lately. Ten of Cups, spiritual and emotional fulfillment. 8 of Pentacles, a lot of work. You guys that are in relationships here, you've been putting a lot of work into your connection. Ace of Cups. And let's see. Okay, Judgment. High Priestess, and let's look at the bottom. Yeah, okay, and there's that 3 of Swords again. A lot of people see the 3 of Swords and get really worried. Oh no, that means my relationship's over. That means my heart's going to get broken. Not necessarily. In this case, it doesn't actually mean that, but we'll get into that in a minute. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so I had noticed when I cut the deck and I saw the Strength card hasn't shown up again here, but we saw that Strength card next to that 3 of Swords, and that it showed how, yeah, a type of a heartbreak or some kind of an issue that you guys had actually made your relationship stronger. Yeah, okay. I'm seeing this might be a more specific message for some of you. You just take what resonates, and if it doesn't, then this message is not for you. But you experienced some kind of a loss, and it actually brought you closer together, maybe when you expected it to do the opposite. Spirit, do I give the example that you're showing me? Because that's pretty, okay. Well, we're going to put a little TW here, a little trigger warning for different types of loss and grief that sometimes people in a relationship experience. Somebody may have lost a pregnancy. That's why I wanted to put that trigger warning there. And, or even like lost a member of their family. But I'm seeing the first thing Spirit wants me to talk about is somebody has lost a pregnancy. It was very, very devastating, of course, but somehow it brought you and your partner closer together as you processed this and went through it together. And, you know, you were able to support each other through the grief and the disappointment and, you know, all the sadness that comes with something like that happening. But it did result in you, yeah, relying more on each other and becoming a stronger support for each other. Now, another example I'm seeing, yeah, somebody may have lost like a family member. I'm seeing like an in-law. So someone lost a parent somewhere along the way, and the grief really, in which this makes sense, the grief would have absolutely really rocked them. So if this is you, let's just say, perhaps maybe you lost a parent or your spouse lost a parent, the grief has absolutely just decimated you guys. But it's also, again, brought you closer together as you grieve together, that what am I trying to say? You open up more emotionally, and maybe you access, a deeper emotional connection with each other than you thought you would have, or that you haven't had before. Now, and the other thing I'm getting here with this Three of Swords is it's not necessarily grief as in you lost somebody that you loved, or, not necessarily dealing with grief the way we think about it, like bereavement, but there could have been you could have had a major fight with this person recently, and maybe some really heartbreaking things were said, or some kind of information was revealed that just really shook you, and it really made you sad. But you're able to work it out with each other, and you've, again, with this becoming closer and having a stronger bond as a result. All right. Oop, I bumped my table. Okay, Spirit, what else is happening here? Because we got all these other cards here, and I'm seeing multiple messages. All right. I think whatever happened here, this was quite a while ago with this Three of Swords. Whatever that was a while ago, because the work I think that you put into each other, and the efforts that you both went through with the healing together and processing things together, you're starting to now actually see the good that's done in your relationship. That Three of Wands is often referred to as the ships coming in card, because in the traditional Rider-Waite, it is a guy overlooking a cliff, and there are 3 big boats coming his way. And so Two of Wands is you've made your plans, you put your intention out there. Three of Wands is that thing is manifesting, and it's the results of which are coming back. So yeah, whatever work that you've had to do together here, you're starting to see the results of that. And the results here, well, I see this. We have the 10 of Cups. There's this is actually a happy family type of card. So I'm seeing you've allowed happiness and joy to come back into your household. I'm seeing your relationship is fulfilling emotionally, physically, but especially with these cups, emotionally and spiritually. I think you have a good thing going, because it seems like you're able to fill each other's cups, but when you're apart, you can still fill your own cup. The singles for this pile had a big message about filling their own cup. And it seems like that's what you guys are able to do for each other. Interestingly, this can sort of go along with the message for the singles. So if you listened to that first message and you're still listening to this one, this could be what your next relationship looks like after you've done the healing work. Because remember, well, for those of you who watched that part, we had the Devil card with the toxic or abusive or otherwise just unhealthy garbage connections and relationships in the past. That could be what this Three of Swords is representing for you. And then you do all that inner work, filling your own cup and stuff, and then you're starting to see eventually the results of that, where now you're in a healthy connection. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles, you've put a lot of work. You've both put a lot of work into this connection. Some of you have been together a very long time. I'm seeing 8 years. Doesn't necessarily have to be 8 years, but for a lot of you, yeah, at least 8 years, or your 8th anniversary is coming up or something like that. Also just means you've put a hell of a lot of work into your connection, and it's paying off. Judgment and High Priestess. Okay, what's this talking about, Spirit? Okay. Maybe part of why your relationship here is working so well and has become so much stronger is because you've both chosen not to hide things from each other anymore. High Priestess is secretive information. I mean, and it's not always secrets as in oh, it's something bad or it's something, dangerous or shameful or whatever. But it's just you're letting each other, and with Judgment, I'm seeing you're telling that truth. You're letting each other see every aspect. Like you're letting your partner or your spouse see every aspect of you, good, bad, quirky, ugly, whatever. Every aspect of you, and they're opening up to you in that same way. And I think that's why it seems to be working so well for you guys for group 1 that's in a relationship. Okay, volume warning, runes. These are kind of loud. Now, I don't read reversals for runes the way that I read reversals for tarot. We have, oh, what is this rune called? Berkana. Letter B. So the letter B may be significant to you. Maybe you start with B, or your partner starts with a B, or there's some kind of something there significant that starts with B. This means birch goddess. It's growth, new beginnings, renewal, birth and rebirth, spring and fertility. Maybe, without being triggering, of course, maybe for some of you that tried for a baby and it just didn't pan out. Perhaps there will be a better luck or a better outcome the next time. I'm seeing that with the fertility and birth and new beginnings, renewal. I'm seeing something about trying again, and it actually works. Some of you may have, and if not the baby example here, but for some others of you, may have had this huge fight, and you might have actually broken up and gotten back together, or spent time apart and gotten back together, and that was actually the kick in the butt that your relationship needed to sort of reboot itself. So I'm getting that word reboot. I'm seeing a computer that's not running properly, and the person goes, ugh, whatever, and just shuts it. You do the thing. Have you turned it off and turned it on again? They shut it off. Give it a little bit of time. Come back to it, turn it back on. And suddenly it's just working much better. So that there could be something like that for you. We're going to pull a Moonology for my viewers in group 1 who are in a relationship. Let's see. Okay, we have adjustments are required. And on the bottom, communication is key. Spirit's telling me to read both of them for you. So adjustments are required and communication is key. I think that's where that Judgment and High Priestess perhaps comes in. You had to make an adjustment to your relationship, and that was being more open with each other. Open with each other about things that maybe you didn't think you had to be open about, or, didn't think were significant, but actually were. For example, maybe talking about all of your feelings, not just the I'm struggling and we're having a problem. Even just the hey, I really love and appreciate when you do this, or I just really love and appreciate you. Or just sharing, sharing in all the aspects of your true authentic self like that with each other. I think that was an adjustment. And for those of you who came from the previous message about the singles and how you needed to work on yourself, that could also be an adjustment that's required before you're able to enter into another connection. Then we have communication is key, and that is true, I think, for every relationship of every kind, friendships, family, romantic, whatever. Making sure that you're on the same page, and with that Judgment, I get that with the communication too. You're speaking your mind, you're speaking your truth or the truth, or your side of things to the best of your understanding, etc. And you're just not holding that back anymore. And that actually helps your relationship to grow. Because sometimes you can't fix something if you don't acknowledge that it's an issue, right? And so it can start off really small, but then get sort of worse and worse over time as the frustration builds or the resentment or whatever. I see here with the communication, you can resolve that by just talking about these smaller things, even if they're uncomfortable. But I see that your relationship is secure here. It's so secure that it is safe to communicate and actually talk about all of these different things. Okay, so that is what I have for you, pile 1, group 1. I really hope that was helpful. Again, private readings are open if you want to go into this in more detail or in a more personalized way. The booking link is in the description, calendly.com/wildrosetc. The link to where you can find Otter Spirits bracelets and other lovely accessories will be in the description. Use the code WRTC to get a small discount, and at the same time you will be supporting my channel and my small business as a tarot reader. All right, so thank you guys for being here. That's what I have for you, pile 1. All right, hello, pile 2, group 2. For those of you who chose the amethyst, this is your reading. I'll just go put that over there. I mentioned this for our last group. I'm going to split the messages into 2 parts. So the first little bit is going to be the message for viewers who are single, and the second little bit is going to be messages for the viewers who are in a relationship already. So if you want to jump to either one, there will be the appropriate timestamp. You'll find that in the description and in a pinned comment, so that you're not sitting through messages that aren't necessarily for you, and you're not constantly like double tapping on your phone screen to like fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. So let's get into the messages that Spirit has for the singles who chose group 2. Singles are those who are otherwise not in a committed relationship. So that can include the awkward talking stage, getting to know each other, situationship, but not being a real official item, or just plain single. All right. Let's see what we have. I didn't even mention this in the intro, but we are using the Kawaii Tarot today for this reading. I love this deck. I think it is so cute. Hence the name Kawaii. I love the colors, how simple. This deck is actually very simple to read, interpret, and learn from. And it's great for shuffling because it is perfectly palm-sized. Now, I'm not sponsored by the makers of the Kawaii Tarot, but that would be cool. Maybe someday. But I do like to shout out a good quality deck when I see one. And this is one. So anyways, okay, what is the message for our singles from pile 2, group 2? Okay, 7 of Cups, Queen of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, the Sun, Star, Magician, 9 of Cups on the bottom. Ooh. 3 major arcana, so that's like the big picture, big spiritual message. And then we have, actually these all look like pretty good cards. Okay. We're going to start with our 7 of Cups. A lot of you who've chosen this pile, I think there is something you're really confused about. I won't say you are confused because no, it's just you're confused about a particular thing here regarding love and relationships. Okay, so this is going to be specific maybe for some people. With this Queen of Cups next to, Queen of Cups next to 7 of Cups, you may be actually like in kind of a situationship with someone and you're like, are they actually the right person? Because I'm seeing here like things look good and they feel good, but you're wondering if it's like real or if it's maybe a little bit, too good. I can understand that being hesitant, like this is really good. Is it too good to be true? And what I have here with the 10 of Pentacles and the Sun is like, it actually is true and it is good. And then we have like stability and something about like long-term stability, a long-term relationship. I think this is like what you're ready for. Some of you may be confused and not sure if that's something you're ready for, but Spirit's saying like, actually, yeah. And I'm seeing also with this Queen of Cups that it's like your heart is open. I'm seeing that heart chakra being open, but also just having an open heart, like having compassion for people, being understanding and not being afraid to share your kindness and your compassion. I also have here Star and Magician. It looks like you could be able to manifest, if that is something you're looking into, is like manifesting. Maybe I'm getting like twin flame. I don't know like a whole lot about that kind of thing, but that's something that just popped into my awareness here. So I'm going to share that. Some of you are trying to manifest that twin flame connection or that soulmate connection. And I have with the Star here, Spirit's like, absolutely. Like, dang, yeah, it's about time. Like, this is the perfect time to do it. There's something about like optimal. You're in like the optimal part of your life to do this. Like I'm seeing like a great state of mind, a great energy that you're in right now. I'm seeing like a lot of happiness that's within you. And then we have 9 of Cups. That's like wish fulfillment. That's like also emotional fulfillment, but Spirit's saying like, yeah, you're about to get what you want. So if you're in like a situation with someone, getting to know them, and you're like, I really like them, and do they feel the same way about me? That could be something you're confused on. I think you're going to find that they do, but perhaps they just haven't like told you yet, or they're not ready to voice that yet. But I see that is something that very easily can happen for you. And then maybe some of you are confused on how to like manifest that your person, your best match for you. We're going to put this 9 of Swords here, and we're going to just pull a card and just see if we can give some clarity or some advice to pile 2, singles who are trying to manifest that twin flame connection or that soulmate connection or that their forever person. If they're confused on that, what's some advice that can help them? Okay, Hierophant in reverse, I'm actually getting, you don't have to go by the book. By the book could mean you don't have to exactly word for word down to a science copy somebody else's manifestation practice or ritual. You can adjust. Some people just like do affirmations every day. Like, today is the day I meet that person. Or, I am, like everyone is looking for that Mr. Right or that Ms. Right, and you're like, I am right. I am that right person. For some people, they do a little bit of maybe candle magic or some kind of other magical practice or meditation. There are a bunch of different methods you could try, and not having to do everything by the book is like, feel free to tweak the techniques a little bit to see what resonates best with you and feels most natural and most comfortable for you. And then with 7 of Wands, you don't have to make it complicated. Like you don't actually need a grand like altar and crystals and candles set up if that's not something you have or something that you want or are even interested in doing. Again, it can be something as simple as the daily affirmations and Spirit showing me something else, like something about writing in a journal. Maybe the qualities that you want in this forever person, the qualities that you want to see in them, the qualities that you want to see in yourself in a successful long-term partnership, relationship. And then something else I'm getting with this Hierophant is that it doesn't have to result in a traditional religious or legal binding marriage in order for it to count as a legitimate, like, long-term, best for you type of relationship. If marriage is not something that you're interested in, that is okay. You will still be able to manifest that forever person, and you can just be together in the way that you feel best being together. And I think that is fantastic news for you. Anyways, volume warning, because we're going to do some runes. And they are really, really loud when I mix them around in the bag. So turn your sound down. Okay, I think this is a Sowilo rune. I'm going to just double check that that's actually what it's called. I do have the book here, full disclosure. It's funny because Spirit was kind of like, I felt like they were kind of pushing me to do runes more with the readings, but I'm like telling Spirit, I'm like, but I haven't memorized them. Like I still need to look at the book for some of their names, and like I can't even pronounce half of them right. And Spirit's like, yeah, so you're learning this and you're showing your viewers that it's okay to learn as you go. So here we are, learning as we go. It is Sowilo, and that's the letter S. S could be significant to you, maybe your name or that special person's name could start with an S. Could be something about September. I'm seeing something about Saturday or Sunday. Maybe something like that, that month or those days or something could be really significant to you. It means also Sowilo, it means the sun, and that's funny that we got that sun card. And this, usually the numbers don't stand out so much to me, but isn't S the 19th letter of the alphabet? We're going to go through and double check. Okay, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. Yes, it is. It is also the 19th letter of the alphabet. So maybe the 19th is like a special date for you. Maybe that's like an anniversary or something that you're going to have, or that could be maybe when you first meet that special person or become an official item with that person. Anyways, there's a good guidance, wholeness, awareness, goals achieved, hope, excuse me, individual victory and honor. Yeah, you're gonna get what you want out of this pile 2 singles. If you're looking for a relationship, you will find one. If you're looking for marriage, I think, yes, you'll find one. If you're not looking for marriage, you'll still find something that is just as meaningful, but maybe looks a little bit different than the traditional thing that we all think of. We're going to pull a Moonology card for my pile 2 singles. What is coming next in their love life? Okay, a time for healing. I think you've done a lot of your healing, but perhaps this new relationship or whatever that you enter into can be really healing for you. And then bottom of the pile here, we have prosperity lies ahead. 10 of Pentacles is also about that prosperity, that long-term. It could be prosperity as in wealth. You know, perhaps together you are able to combine your finances and you end up with quite a lot more than expected, or you're able to work on them together or something like that. Or maybe you get into a relationship with somebody who is very financially literate and very savvy and can help make the money and teach you how to make money and grow your wealth. But I'm also seeing prosperity as in like, okay, yeah, like a prosperous relationship. Like it's happy and it breeds joy and hope and good. There's just like good nature and just good energy and just this abundance of like, I'm seeing the mental image of like a bunch of Polaroid like snapshots, and the people in them are smiling. A prosperous life together. Yeah, I love that. That is awesome for you. I'm not an astrologer, but that new moon in Taurus season, that could be something significant. Perhaps you or that special person is a Taurus, or you meet during Taurus season or something like that. Again, take that if it resonates with you. If not, then don't worry about it. But yeah, that is the message I have for the singles of pile 2. If you want to look into this in more detail or in a more personalized way, private readings are open. The booking link is in the description, calendly.com/wildrosetc. I'm going to go ahead and put these back, and we're going to jump into the messages for pile 2 who's already in a relationship. All right. Okay. Pile 2 who's already in a relationship. What are the messages that you need to know? What does Spirit have to say regarding your love life? All right. Pile 2 couples. Oop, okay, 6 of Pentacles. We're going to keep that. Something about sharing, like sharing your heart and sharing your resources. Something about the balance of give and take. What else do we need to know? Okay, 6 of Wands. There's victory there. Page of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. We'll get more into these in a minute, but I get so excited over seeing them, and especially when like the intuitive ping, 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 ping start lighting up really quickly. I often am like, oh my gosh, I gotta share this. Okay, Chariot. 7 Wands. And Knight of Swords. Okay. First messages that I'm getting, or first couple messages that I'm getting, are for young couples, young adult couples. I'm seeing perhaps this is like your first time moving in together or living together. And I'm seeing like the young, like youth with this Page of Pentacles, somebody who's new to having their own money, you know, somebody who's new to this whole kind of adult experience. Queen of Wands, there's kind of a youthful energy with her too. But anyway, for like the really young people, like young adults watching this that are entering into a relationship. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing some of you have moved in together and are living together for the first time, and that's very exciting. You're learning how to share your resources. Okay, that makes sense. So you're learning, it's like you're successfully figuring out how to budget together, how to share, share the resources. Like, okay, well, maybe we go half on rent, for example. And like, well, okay, if you do the utilities and the power, I can cover the internet and the phone bills or whatever. Or like, we can cover this, and, you know, I'll take care of this if you take care of that. And it seems like it's working, which is really good. I love seeing that is working for you. And it seems so far like it's fair the way you have it set up. Perhaps it's fair. And especially for those of you who are very new to this, it's a new experience for you. You might not really know what to expect when it comes to living together with someone for that first time. So that's good. Starting off really, really well. Now, the message I think for the rest of you, there's still that sharing of resources and leaning on each other for support and having it work out. I'm seeing the balance for some of you, the balance of your relationship was a little bit off for a while. And it wasn't like it was an unfair type of situation. It was just an example Spirit's giving is one partner was maybe laid off. And while they were looking for work, the other partner still went out and worked their job, while the partner that was laid off or was otherwise looking for work contributed to the household and the relationship in other ways than just the financial. And that arrangement worked. So maybe it was like, okay, well, if you're not going to be working and I'm going to be working, would you be able to make the meals and take care of the home? And the person that's at home is like, yeah, sure, why not? I can do that. That's only fair, or whatever. And it seems like that arrangement worked out. I think whatever that situation was, it did kind of balance itself back out. And with the job example, maybe now you're both back to being employed as normal, or you found some kind of other arrangement that still works financially, where maybe the responsibilities are still divided evenly now, but for a little while, maybe somebody was having to put a little bit more effort than the other. Aside from the job example, another example could be one partner was ill or was struggling with their mental health and was not really able to function. They could have been on sick leave or on disability or something like that. Or they did have some kind of an injury and couldn't really contribute maybe to the home or to, working and stuff in the way that they normally could. So the other partner stepped in. So maybe the one that was, I'm going to say that was incapacitated, maybe they could only do like 30% some days, only offer up 30% of their best effort. And the other partner had to come up with the other 70%. And then the next day they were maybe able to offer up 50%. And, but it seems like now whatever that has kind of balanced out. And that temporary imbalance, it did work. It ended up being for the best because it ended up not being permanent, right? So it seems like it ended up being fair in the end. I love seeing actually like the matching 6677. That really piqued my attention. Spirit's telling me not to look into it too much. But there could be something, it could be something about your ages. Perhaps you're like 26 and 27, 36 and 37. You could be, depending on where you are, and if some places maybe do allow this, or maybe you're emancipated, maybe you're really, really young, like 16 and 17. Anyway. Yeah, we just talked about that whole, like, there was that temporary imbalance where one had to pick up the other's slack. Sometimes that is just what happens in relationships too. It's, ideally you're both contributing 100% of your best effort, or you're splitting things 50-50 or whatever. But it seems like whatever arrangement you had to do there, it worked. And now you're able to move forward. And then 7 of Wands, let's see. Yeah, there's this message of like, yeah, you can go forwards now, but like make sure that imbalance was corrected so that one of you isn't doing too much. But it does seem like you have a pretty good grasp on how to divide your responsibilities and work that out. And for every relationship, it might be different. Again, like I said, for some people, it's like they're both doing everything. And for some couples, it's like, okay, you do this and I'll do that. Yeah, I'm just seeing Spirit's just saying like, it's working. Just make sure you don't wear yourselves out. Make sure that, it's still fair and that you're contributing when you're able to. Knight of Swords. You've somehow managed to, I'm hearing, avoid quarrels. I think Spirit's giving you like, they're giving you like the thumbs up, like I'm seeing like a pat on the back, they're like really commending your ability to get through whatever it was for those of you who had that imbalance in the dynamic there for a while. Spirit's like really commending your ability to get through that with, I would say, with minimal fighting. Frog in my throat. With minimal fighting, and whatever that situation, you were able to get through it quite quickly and work things out quite quickly. Now, a message for the really, really young adults, the really young couples, or, people that are watching this. This Knight of Swords is also saying that sometimes arguments and disagreements will happen. you might fight a little bit, but it's not always a bad thing. It's not necessarily the fighting, it's how you go about it, how you go about communicating to each other, and recognizing that a lot of times it's you and your person versus your situation and not just you versus them. Maybe sometimes it can be you versus them, but Spirit's saying, like, for the most part here in this case for you guys, it's going to be more like you guys versus the problem or whatever. So to not be totally distraught. Now, yeah, maybe the first time you have a fight, like with your new boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, it can really hurt, and it can be really sad, and it can be really stressful. But Spirit's like, don't worry. This is a part of adult relationships, is learning to communicate, sometimes miscommunicating, and then having to sort of pick up the pieces and work things out again after a miscommunication or a disagreement happens. And that's okay. Message for everybody is, I'm seeing, like, to, keep things fresh, continue to be creative and think outside the box. So maybe you get kind of stuck in routines where you're like, should we go out tonight? Nah, let's just watch TV. Okay. And then you get stuck in the cycle of just watching TV together every night after work or whatever, every evening until you both fall asleep. Or, maybe some other kind of routine, whatever. So Spirit's saying, like, it's okay to mix it up once in a while. Like, well, you know what? Like, yeah, we can watch our show together, but, like, let's go for a walk first. Oh, okay, sure. Let's go for a walk. And then maybe you go for a walk, a nice little walk, and hold hands and talk and get to spend some time together outside. I'm seeing something, like, that's just one of many ways you can do things a bit differently outside the box. I'm seeing also, like, keeping your relationship, like, keeping the energy young and fresh and keeping things interesting and fun. And it's not always going to be interesting and fun every day, but there are times where it's appropriate to inject a little bit of humor or a bit of silliness into your relationship, so it doesn't have to be just so serious all the time. Okay, volume warning. We are going to do some runes. They are really loud when I mix them up in the bag, so that's your heads up to turn your volume down. Okay, we had three of them come out. All right, our first one is, I think it's Ansu's. I think that's what you call it. It is the Ansu's rune. Letter A. So it represents letter A. I mean, it looks like an F, but whatever. So A could be significant. That could be your significant other's, like, their initial, or maybe that's what your name starts with or something like that. Anyways, references the god Odin. It's associated with your mind, the inner voice, the signals, the synchronicities, inspiration, true vision, and self-knowledge. Yeah, I think you're learning how to, I think this is for the people that are either new to relationships or, like, new to adulthood and adult relationships. It's just saying to, like, enjoy the process. You're learning how to sort of, like, intuit different things about your relationship, like knowing when is the right time to offer a hug and offer advice versus when is the right time to just listen and be understanding. You could be, for the really young couples watching, you could have, like, you could have some good influences around you. Like, perhaps one or both of you comes from a family where the parents are still together, or have been together a long time and have a healthy connection, healthy relationship. And maybe you have or others in your community perhaps that you can look up to who are older than you and can give you relationship advice. You're learning from them, and it's going to help make you wiser and help make your relationship, help it to grow and mature a little bit more over time. The next rune we have is, what is it called? I can never remember. It's this one here. It's supposed to be the letter U, I think. It is the Uruz. And it does mean letter U. See, I'm still learning these runes here. So you guys are going to learn alongside me, and I think that's going to be really, really fun. So we have the Uruz, and that is like strength and brute force. Often refers to like the wild bison or the bull. Strength, vitality, good health, power, and healing. So I mean strength and vitality. Maybe that's, again, with like keeping your relationship young, keeping that energy fresh and exciting and, you know, mixing things up a little bit, bringing in new energy. But I also see with like the bull imagery, you may have to just watch that you don't get stuck too much in certain stubborn ways. You know, there's this saying, I don't know where it comes from, but I've heard Ram Dass use it quite a bit in his old teachings, especially on relationships. He's like, do you want to be right or do you want to be free? So maybe there are times where you have to, maybe you're convinced that you're right, but in order to keep the peace, you have to be like, okay, you know what? Whatever. You, like a silly thing, like, you know, maybe you know the guy's name is pronounced Cillian Murphy, but your spouse keeps saying Cillian Murphy. And this is not just a random reference from Spirit or anything like that. Like, this is actually from a show that I like, where a couple, there's a young couple that actually gets in a fight over this. And the wife is like, I am telling you, his name is Cillian Murphy. And the husband's like, no, I'm sure it's Cillian Murphy. It's spelled with a C. And then the wife gets so mad, but then she realizes, like, even though she knows she's right, the peace in her marriage is more important to her than trying to convince her husband to change the way he pronounces his favorite actor's name. So that kind of ties back into that stubbornness. Do you want to be right or do you want to be free? And I think, again, with this intuition and learning how to intuit things in the relationship, you're going to start to pick up on when it's okay to be right and, you know, when it's important and when it's not important to always be right, and where it's, okay, you know what, whatever. You can think what you think. I love you anyway. You'll figure it out. Okay, and then our last rune is the Dagas? Anyway, I'm still learning all this stuff, so if you are more well-versed in runes and can actually pronounce the names, like, please correct me in the comments, because I am willing to learn. Anyway, letter D, so D could be significant to you. That could be, you know, your name or their name starts with that or whatever, meaning the day or the dawn, breakthrough, awakening, awareness, prosperity. But yeah, awakening and awareness, especially for those young people that are still learning how to navigate these adult relationships. This is going to be a very exciting time of learning for you. You're going to learn right away everything that it is that you need to know about how to have your successful relationship. And then, you know, there's a difference between learning all these things and being able to apply them. So if it takes time for you to be able to remember and apply these different things, that's okay. That's just part of the learning process. We're going to pull a Moonology for my pile 2s who are in relationships. Confidence is your key to success. Ooh. Yeah, confidence is your key to success. And what else do we need to know about this, Spirit? Okay, yeah, having faith. I think the confidence here is that confidence in knowing that you both love each other and you're both able to learn together, and that mistakes are not going to be the end of the world. Disagreements are not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be the end of your relationship. Have a little bit of confidence that you can make this happen and that you you can live this out, this like happy and secure adult relationship together. And then for those of you who are older or have been together, you know, quite a long time, I still think that this confidence, I think it's still important, because there's that confidence that you still love each other, and that, excuse me, that security, again with the security. I suppose the more confident you are, perhaps the more secure you feel within yourself and within your relationship. And I see, yeah, that's the key to the success here. Wow, words are tough today. And with changing up the routine and adding in new things, have some confidence in like, well, okay, here, this might be a silly idea, but you know what? Let's try it. And, you know, like maybe it's a silly idea, but I'm still gonna have my confidence. Like, again, like maybe you want to, this is gonna get a little spicy, but maybe you want to try something new with your sex life, and it's the confidence, that's the sexy part, that's the attractive part, right? Well, we're gonna try this, and you know, even if it doesn't work and you both end up in a pile of sweaty, giggling laughter and silliness, that's fine. You still had the confidence and the bravery to try this new thing in the first place. Okay, so that's what I have for you, pile 2s that are in a relationship. I hope this reading was helpful. I did say this part to the singles, and I'll say it to you too. If you want to look more into this or in a more personalized way, I do have private readings open. The link is in the description, calendly.com/wildrosetc. And again, if you like the bracelets that I've been wearing in this reading, then you can find the link to the Otter Spirit website in the description. Make sure to use the code WRTC to get a discount on your purchase, and it's a win-win. Like I think I had said that earlier in the intro. Anyways, it's a win-win because you're getting a discount and I'm getting a commission. So you're actually helping to support my channel and my small business as a tarot advisor. Anyways, that all said, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I'll see you next time. And last but not least, pile 3, group 3. Hello, welcome. This is your reading. If you chose this beautiful, again, it's some kind of quartz. If you can identify this, please share it with me in the comments. Like I said earlier, I found this outside. I thought it was gorgeous. I picked it up. It's in my collection now. We're just gonna go ahead and put it over there. This will be your reading for your love life. And I said this to the other groups, and I'll say it to you as well. The first set of messages will be for the singles that are watching this, the single people. The second set of messages will be for those who are in a relationship. So I will have the appropriate timestamps in the description and in a pinned comment. So if you don't want to sit through, you know, the singles message because maybe you've been married for 20 years or whatever, then absolutely just skip to whatever part is the most appropriate for you. All right, but we're going to get into the message for singles. Spirit, what do the single viewers from pile 3 need to know about their love life? And that is single as in like you've been on your own, or you're in just otherwise not in a committed relationship connection. So that could be the awkward talking stage, getting to know each other but not being official, or just some kind of like a situationship sort of thing. This will be the message for you. Okay. This one did try to fall out, so we're going to keep it, and that's the 9 of Wands. Okay, 4 of Wands, 10 of Swords, 9 of Cups. Okay. Ace of Swords, Star, Judgment. Okay. It looks like some of you actually ended a relationship recently and it has made you much happier than you expected it to. Nine of Wands is often a card for being like injured or hurt, overworked, but you're still holding on. Sometimes that is a card that, at least for me, Spirit helps me to interpret it as like complex trauma or like a long-standing trauma where things are not good, but you're still functioning. It's like an image that is often used in the traditional Rider-Waite is somebody walking on like an injured leg or walking on a broken leg, where it's like not good for you to do that, but you know, at the same time, like you had to push on for whatever reason and so you did what you needed to do. Sometimes that's also a card like for survival mode. You could have been in survival mode and just exhausted there with that Nine of Wands. Four of Wands, I'm seeing where like maybe you tried really hard to keep the peace in this connection that you walked away from. I think you were walking on eggshells. I'm getting just the image of, I'm just seeing that image of broken eggshells. You were walking on eggshells around that person, and it was exhausting. And always being afraid of what they were going to say and how they were going to react. And I'm seeing some of you would be driving home and being like, what am I going to open the door to today? What am I going to come home to tonight? You know, which version of this person am I going to get? Am I going to get Jekyll or Hyde? Am I going to get hot or cold? And I see why that's exhausting. It absolutely is. Those kind of situations, they really suck. And I don't wish those on anybody, but unfortunately they do happen. And then you recently decided, honestly, I'm done. Like, I think you did everything that you thought you were supposed to do. Like on paper to like save, maybe to like save your relationship. You know, you tried working on your communication. You offered to go to some kind of counseling maybe, or even couples therapy or like marriage counseling or something like that. And either it didn't work or that person you were with just didn't bother to go for it, or they just didn't follow through on any of it. And you, on paper, it's like you did all the right things, but then it ultimately just wasn't meant to be, at least not anymore. And I don't see any like mourning or grief or sadness other than that 10 of Swords, where even when you're ready to walk away from somebody, it still can be really hard to do, and it can still be sad, and you can still feel sad about it. And I see maybe with the exhaustion and the survival mode and the walking on eggshells, I think you grieved before, like most of this, before you even actually walked away. So that when you did walk away from that connection, you were left with feeling relief. And again, with that wish come true, like, wow, I actually feel good today. Like I can come home and not worry about not worry about coming in too noisy. For some reason, that's an example that's coming in. Maybe some of you were in a situation where you had to be hyper vigilant and, okay, I better not open and close the door too loud. Okay, I really don't want them to perceive me. I better not step on the creaky stair and have them know that I'm here, because I don't, and everyone's situation like this is going to be a little bit different, but that is the example Spirit was giving, where you were just really being careful and having to kind of sneak around in your own house and walk on eggshells to avoid either being perceived or avoid a fight or avoid being yelled at or whatever it was that was not good. And now that you've walked away from that, you're like, hell yeah, I can walk in as loud as I want. I can kick the door down if I really wanted to. I can kick my shoes off, and I can sit on the couch and watch TV with the volume up, or I can listen to this music or whatever out loud. And it feels maybe was really sad at first and then afterwards felt better. I want to give you an example actually from my own life. This was many, many, many years ago, about 10 years ago almost. I had left, it was an abusive situation, very, very 9 of wands. And I thought I had, done everything right. I was going to therapy for myself, which was good to do anyway. But I thought, well, if it'll inspire him to want to go and to change. And I was in that hypervigilant state of, okay, well, I hear his truck in the driveway and I'd be filled with fear. Like, oh, is he going to be angry when he comes in? Is he going to be happy when he comes in? Which version of myself do I put on? Which mask, which costume of myself do I put on for him to keep him comfortable? Because if he came in a bad mood and I was like super uppity and bubbly and cheerful, it wouldn't go well, and I would end up being dragged down to his level. And so sometimes and I'd have to pretend like I was very sullen and very quiet and pensive, even though I didn't really feel that way. And then when I eventually left that person, it was a little bit sad at first. It was scary. In my situation, it was scary and it was a little bit dangerous. But after, I was so relieved, and it was like an absolute, like a wish come true. I could be my real self again. I could listen to whatever music I wanted, because he didn't let me listen to certain bands. He didn't let me sing in a certain vocal register that I have. Anyway, all these restrictions were finally lifted and gone. And I was like, holy shit, like dream come true. I'm free. So maybe that's how a lot of you are feeling right now. You were wishing for that inner peace, and you thought maybe you could have that in the relationship, and then you left the relationship and realized you got exactly what you wanted, and it was the inner peace, but it happened to be away from that person. Yeah, and okay, Ace of Swords, that ended up being the truth of that situation. And the truth of why you're single was because whatever it was you were doing wasn't working. You were putting a lot of energy into the wrong thing. And then you finally let it go. And Spirit's like, good, that was exactly what you were supposed to do. This was the lesson and the experience your soul wanted to have. You had the experience. Now it is time to end this and reflect on what you learned. This experience has actually made you, with the Star card, I think it's actually caused you to feel very proud of yourself. And if it has, then I'm very happy for you. And I'm proud of you for leaving, even if you don't feel like you're proud of yourself, I'm proud of you for leaving something that wasn't working for you and that was causing you to feel this exhaustion, this survival mode. You've become, I think, there's something about a more brilliant version of yourself. I guess that makes sense, because when you're constantly shrinking yourself down to be more palatable and more like acceptable to that other person, you really don't shine. You're dulling your own light because it's too bright for someone else. Without that person there to complain, oh, it's too bright, or like, oh, you're too much, you're too quirky, you're too annoying, you're too weird, you're so embarrassing, whatever. Without that person and their nonsense and their bullshit that was keeping you in like a place of dimming your own light. Now without them, you're like, I can shine as bright as I damn well please. I can be as weird as I want to. I can pretend to use the Force when I walk up to the automatic doors at the grocery store. I don't care if anyone else thinks that's embarrassing. That's to them. It makes me happy, and this is what I'm going to do. Judgment card. This has also... You've become a lot wiser as a result of whatever it was you experienced here and in that last relationship, and from what you learned from breaking up with that person and leaving that relationship. You're a lot more choosy. Your standards are higher. The bar has been raised where you're like, okay, well, I do not want to be around another person like him or another person like her. And so I know sometimes you learn simply what you don't want in people. And that's a perfectly valid lesson and experience and thing to learn from your relationships. Excuse me. You've also gotten better at picking up the red flags. So, maybe the next time you meet someone even if you're not interested in dating them or anything, you just meet someone or you're talking to them and they start to maybe do something that reminds you of what that last person did, or you get the ick in some other kind of way, you're going to be more apt to trust that gut feeling. Yeah, your gut feelings are actually a lot stronger. You're a lot more connected to them now, because I think in that prior relationship, you were still having the gut feelings, but you were rationalizing them away. Oh, well, he was just having a bad day, or, well, she just wasn't really feeling well, or like, well, they've been under so much stress lately, and maybe I was being really annoying, or like, you know, or like, well, they're not like, they can't be like that all the time, or sometimes we rationalize and make excuses for someone else's bad behavior. You don't do that anymore. You've learned why you were doing that in the past, and now you're like, no, I don't make excuses for that kind of thing anymore. So now your standards are higher. Your gut feeling is a lot. I think it was always pretty good, but I mean, like, your ability to listen to and respect that gut feeling is a lot stronger. It's a lot sharper. All right, volume warning, because we're going to do runes. So if you're a headphone user, turn it down because this gets loud. Okay. We have, the arrow one. What is that one called? I got to look in the book for some of the names here. Tewaz. Tewaz? Tewaz? Anyway, letter T. So T could be significant to you, or it could have been like the name or the letter that that person's name started with, or it could be what your name starts with or something. I'm also getting something about like Thursday. There could have been something about like maybe something happened last Thursday that was significant, or anyway, something like that. Meaning Tyr, the sky god. And yes, I am looking in the book for these, for some of these. I'm learning to read the runes, and Spirit had been kind of like nudging me ever since I got these runes to be like, well, okay, well, read them on camera and read them when you're doing stuff for your clients. And I resisted at first. I'm like, no, I'm not good enough at these. I don't have any of these memorized. I can't pronounce half of their names. And Spirit's like, that's okay. Learn alongside your viewers and show them that it's okay to still like be learning these things and implementing them as you learn them. So this is what we're doing. Tewaz, letter T. Tyr, the sky god, associated with leadership, warrior, balance, self-sacrifice, logical thought, rationality, victory. Yeah, okay, so self-sacrifice, maybe that was all the eggshells you're walking on and all the things you were trying to do to save the relationship, and the, you know, all the efforts that you were trying to make and what you were trying to accomplish, and it just didn't work. And then the whole like dimming your light because somebody told you it was too bright, or, you know, like toning down aspects of your personality because that person said it was too much or whatever. That's also kind of a self-sacrifice, and that's not a good type of self-sacrifice. But then, yeah, there's that rationality and the logical thought, maybe with that truth, with that Ace of Swords, like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I deserve better than this. Do I really want to stay in this every day, 30, 40, 50 years of hot and cold, and having to always be on guard and having to always be alert and having to always moderate and censor and edit myself around this person? Then you were like, well, you know what? I don't have to be in this situation. So then you kind of made that, you know, you kind of came to that rational conclusion. And then there's the victory. You're like, well, I'm leaving. I'm done. We can't do this anymore. And then now you're much happier. All right, let's pull a Moonology for my singles who are watching group 3, pile 3. Trying to shuffle. These cards are really big and they're kind of hard to shuffle, but Okay, we have... There are two that want to come out. A personal issue reaches resolution. So that could be representing the end of that unhealthy relationship. Or, I mean, if you're watching this and you are still in that relationship and you're feeling like you want to leave, maybe you're just looking for a sign. That is your sign. That it's okay to go. It's okay to do your own thing and break things off if that's what you need to do. Personal issue reaches resolution. Then we also have emotions are running high, which, you know what, can also, I mean, that can make sense because when you break up with someone, like you can have moments where you really miss them. Maybe you hear a song that they liked that you had fun singing along with them or whatever, and you're like, oh, or, you know, you could be really angry or hurt or sad, realizing all of the ways in which things were unfair to you. Maybe things that you just kind of saw as flags before, you're like, oh, that was actually a red flag. And like you're feeling really emotional. Oh my gosh, how could I have let myself be treated like this? How could I have let myself go through this? How could he or she have done this to me? It's okay. Sit with the feelings for a while, you know, let them sort of course through your body and then let them pass. And it's okay if you are feeling kind of up and down about it, because yeah, you can feel this overall relief and like, oh my gosh, like dream come true, I'm finally free, but also feel sad or feel, yeah. And you can leave someone and not love them anymore, but still maybe miss them. And it can be very confusing, especially if this is like you just freshly left that person or something like that. That's normal. It's natural. It's okay. Feel however you feel about it. Yeah, and just know that there's no right or wrong way to feel after leaving a relationship or a situation like that. Okay, so that is what I have for you for the singles watching group 3. I'm going to go ahead and put these away. If you wanted to look into this in a more detailed way or a more personalized way, private readings are open. The link to book is in the description, calendly.com/wildrosetc. And we can happily, book a time to chat and go over this. So now we're going to move on to messages for the couples, the people who've chosen group 3 that are already in relationships. Let's see. What is the message that they need? Okay. All right, 2 Pentacles, 6 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, Devil, 8 of Swords. You know what? I noticed that 8 of Swords come up a couple times while I was shuffling. And then 8 of Cups. Okay. What do we have? Okay. Excuse me. For some of you, you may have hit a rough patch where maybe there was like a lack of a balance here, perhaps with 2 of Pentacles, or maybe you've been going through something difficult, perhaps for the last 2 years together. I'm hearing from Spirit something about like financial hardships. Maybe there was some kind of a debt or some kind of an unexpected, really big expense that came up. And maybe the stress of that put some toll on your a toll on your relationship while you spent the previous 2 years trying to, or, the last 2 years trying to figure that out and work that out. But Six of Swords shows that you're moving on from that turbulence to a more stable and calm energy. And then we have Knight of Pentacles, where there's something more like stable and predictable that's come in. So yeah, maybe some of you did have some kind of a financial burden, and now it's like you're, again, like the debt example, that really that's really like coming in really strong. And then with this Knight of Pentacles, maybe now there is like sufficient and regular enough income that you can put aside to, I'm hearing something about the debt snowball, to sort of like shrink that snowball of debt. I'm not a financial expert. This is not official financial advice. If you need help with this, please speak to a proper financial advisor or other professional who has the correct training in finances and debt management. Anyway, but I'm seeing that there's more, something about more like regular and consistent income that's going to help you to pay that down. Or perhaps one of you or both of you did end up with a new type of job or something where the pay is more consistent. Yeah, I'm hearing something about like feast or famine. Maybe that's how you had spent the last couple of years, at least financially. Maybe one or both of you could have been like self-employed or been like some kind of independent contractor. And so you get paid when the jobs are done. But sometimes if there are no jobs or there's no contracts available or something, like you're really having to stretch your budget. And then sometimes you have lots of jobs and like a ton of money comes in. I'm seeing either one or both of you switch to maybe something that pays hourly so that it's more consistent and you're able to better plan financially and work out whatever that issue was. Actually, that had a way bigger toll on your relationship, I think, than you expected with that Devil card. That's like that debt. That's what eats at you. That's the, the creditors or the collections calls and letters and stuff, and it's just so stressful, and like I said, like it just really eats at you, and it feels like it's attached to you, like this ball and chain is another image I'm seeing. And this Eight of Swords meaning stuck, where maybe you and your partner you had plans, maybe you wanted to travel or you wanted to move somewhere or something, but you couldn't because of whatever this debt and that expense was. You couldn't afford to get out of where you currently were. And maybe you just felt like you were always going to be stuck in that sort of like limbo. I was not expecting such a strong like financial message to come in. But you know what? Something that can really hinder, especially in marriages, it is financial issues. And maybe not being on the same page about how you handle money. Maybe that was something else that was happening too. It, could be that you still have your separate accounts and you manage your finances one way and they manage theirs another way, and maybe they made a poor choice, or they invested in the wrong thing, or they maybe one or both or the other of you maybe had some issues with gambling or something, because I see that with the Devil card as well, or we're losing money or getting in debt due to some type of addiction or attachment there. But it's nice seeing that with that Six of Swords, where you went from thinking that you were stuck and that this was going to hurt you forever and follow you and affect you forever, to you're finally getting out of that turbulence into something more stable and more predictable and something that's just less stressful for you. Six of Cups. Yeah, I see this as you having compassion for each other and helping each other and having patience here for each other. Next to, on the bottom here, Eight of Cups, that's the walking away and leaving something behind. So maybe one or both of you whatever habit or addiction or whatever it was that was sucking away all of your money. Maybe you had to make that choice to let it go and your partner supported you. For example, like maybe you had to get sober and your partner supported you through that. And because you're not buying whatever substance or you're not gambling or you're not drinking or whatever anymore, you actually have money left over to save and you're able to hold down steady employment and etc. Again, just an example, but that could resonate with somebody. I'm going to put this 8 of Cups here because I was going to ask Spirit, does that mean, you know, maybe the relationship ends because of this problem? And I was being reminded of, it was a show years and years ago that was on TV when I was young, and it was called Till Death Do Us Part. And I think it was about like a financial advisor trying to help people save their marriage who were constantly fighting over money and were, you know, in in debt, and it was ruining their relationship and their marriages and stuff. And Spirit's like, no, there's still, like, underneath that 8 of Cups, there's this 2 of Cups. There's still that mutual love and respect for each other. It's something you're able to get through together. Okay. Any other messages from the tarot? Let's see. Supporting each other and seeing, they're finding some kind of a good balance. And again, it's Pentacles. That's the finances and the resources and offering up, you know, your time or your money. Like maybe, again, we could go back to the separate accounts example. Maybe one partner had a bunch of debts and the other partner was like, you know what? I will give you this money from my account to pay this down so that we don't have this looming over us anymore. Or something like that. Now, let's do some runes. These are, it's a little loud when I mix these around, so, you know, volume warning, especially to headphone users, RIP headphone users. How did I end up with 2 Gabo runes? Hang on. Something is funny here. Maybe something is, maybe one is meant to be upright and the other is meant to be sideways. Let me just, what the heck is going on? Unless I did just end up with a set of runes that had 2 Gabo runes in it. I don't know. Oh, no, just kidding. One of them is the Gabo rune. This one is the Gabo rune. Letter G, that could be significant. But it means gift, sharing, hospitality, blessings, exchange, generosity in personal relationships. So yeah, it seems like whatever the financial issue was, either, you know, you had a debt or your partner had a debt or something like that. One kind of swooped in to help support the other. And it seems like things have stabilized now and you are in a place where you're both in a place where, like, say you're the one that had the debt or the problem or whatever, and your partner came in and supported you. They helped pay off your debt, or they helped you to, you know, again, with perhaps the addictions or something, helped you to get through that and to stop partaking in that or whatever, which puts you both in a position where maybe if they needed that kind of help in the future, you would now have the resources and the knowledge and the wisdom to help them. I see it's like an equal exchange here. Like, they're going to make it up to you or you're going to make it up to them in some way. But there's also, like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's like a pressure or like oh, you owe me. It's more of a, I helped you because I love you. And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, but because I love you and appreciate how you helped me, when I'm able to, I'm going to help you too. Okay, and then our next rune, that I thought was another gable rune, and it is not. What is it called? It's in the book. I cannot remember the name of it. I actually don't get that rune, now these rune. It says you pronounce it like now these. Letter N could be significant to you. It means necessity. Constraint, resistance, need, caution, delays, and conflict, but the will to overcome the conflict. I think that kind of sums up what has happened here in this situation. You had this issue, but you were able to get through it together. And then again with the necessities, it's like maybe at the time you're like, okay, well, we don't have time to, pick apart the details and go too deep into this. We need to just get this paid off, or we need to just get this worked out. And then when things are more stable, then we can go back and revisit, well, what led us to this situation in the first place? And, what were we thinking? What were we feeling? What was going on in that way? But it seems like you did the parts that you were supposed to do, and things do seem like they have worked out a lot better. We're going to pull a Moonology Oracle for you. So my viewers who are in relationships who chose pile 3, what is your Moonology message? Prosperity lies ahead. Oh, look at that. So yeah, you worked out whatever this problem was. And I love seeing that goes with that 6 of Swords, moving on to calmer waters and more, peace and stability. And now it's like prosperity lies ahead. You worked out whatever it was. You did what you needed to do. Now you can sort of relax and let that make sense, actually, because when you have debt, any money that you make ends up having to go towards paying down that debt. And it makes it very hard to save or to have really much of anything left over. Now that that's taken care of, or whatever the issue was is taken care of, now you can actually save your money or save some time, because you're not maybe spending whatever it is done with, so you're not spending all your time on it anymore. You can sort of save your strength and your energy and your effort there. But I love seeing that prosperity lies ahead for you. So that is what I have for you, pile 3 couples. I hope this reading was helpful to you. If you want to look more in depth at this, or look at it in a more personalized way to suit your specific situation, private readings are open. The booking link is in the description, calendly.com/wildrosetc. And again, if you liked the bracelets that I was wearing in this video, you can go to the link I have in the description to the Otter Spirit store. Use the code WRTC to get a discount. And I said this to the other pile, but I really think it's a win-win, because when you use that link and that code, you get a discount, but you're also supporting my channel and ultimately my small business as a tarot advisor. And I really, really appreciate that kind of support. Okay, so anyways, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.